So as you were starting to grow in your walk with Jesus, did you have any moments where, like any distinctive moments where it became hard or where it became, do I still want to follow Jesus?
I would not say that my faith ever wavered in the sense of like really questioning whether or not it was real.
Fair enough.
I think because in my life I had really like statistical hard personal evidence that really kind of rooted my faith since middle school. That being that my dad actually had cardiac arrest syndrome and sudden death syndrome and enlarged heart, sleep apnea, like the list goes on and on. And it was literally in like an 8th grade summer vacation. So like with cardiac arrest and sudden death syndrome, like you can suddenly die. And
That's
so,
scary.
yeah, it is, yes. And he has a defibrillator in his heart, which he got placed in his heart when I was 2 years old because a virus attacked him. That's how he got all of these things. And that defibrillator, I can't give you the exact odds, but what I believed, and I'm just going to hold on tight to it, is that he had a 50% chance of waking up from an episode. So he has cardiac arrest and he practically dies, and then the defibrillator in his heart shocks him back to life. And we had a 50% chance of him waking up from that. And there was 1 week in summer where that happened 4 times in a row. And he was still with us. And over
You said in 1 week?
In 1 week. We were in Mammoth, so the air's a lot thinner there, hard for us to breathe, hard for your heart, hard to acclimate. And like witnessing that at a young age made me really question, like, God, are you there? And I felt like because of my dad's life and the fact that he had over 50, at that point, over 50 episodes where the coin, 50-50 chance, has landed on heads. Statistically, that's divine intervention in my book.
I just got chills hearing that.
Yeah, that's...
Oh my.
So when it comes to faith, I wouldn't say that I had struggles of whether or not the Lord was real and that he was good. But I did, like, it was hard to see my dad go through that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's,
Yeah.
Wow. That's hard to wrap a mind
Sorry, I
around
get
that.
quiet when I get stuff like that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's my big part of my testimony. So there you go.
Fair
That's
enough. Yeah.
the Lord moved in my family in a very practical and statistical way. So I hold tight to that I like get to witness such an amazing miracle of, and like what his goodness isn't based on circumstance or anything, but to see that we had all this borrowed time. Because when I was 2 years old, he was told he'd only have 1.5 to 2 years to live. And
Whoa.
he had 20 years of borrowed time.
Yeah.
So for you, you saw this, I mean, honestly, tragic circumstance as just more evidence for God, and it strengthened you in your walk. Did you see other family members get to have the same kind of result, or even just y'all as a family come closer through it?
That's a good question.
That's a great question, yeah. I'm very thankful for this past year because my dad also got diagnosed with cancer and found out that potentially could have had it the whole time, but we discovered it this year, prostate cancer. And that really drew him to pour more into what he saw me experiencing at the church. And he was just like, I want to be a part of this. And then I think he was like, his fear of his circumstances really drew him to eternal things that he could grasp on. Like, my circumstance isn't changing, it's getting worse. What can I hold on to that's steady? And I think he was really just loving being in church community. He did so many projects here at the church, like that bathroom down the stairs, backstage, he built that, the sound panels and the NPR, and the gym, he helped with that.
He's got a legacy here.
Yeah, and he just the little fire escape at the preschool, that ladder. He welded that. And
I noticed that this
Yeah.
past week, literally, like, this wasn't here.
exactly. So that was my dad. And so
That's
he was
wild.
just like, I just feel a need to pour out my services for the church. And then through that, I just got to see him go to the men's conference and just get poured into by men at our church. So I wouldn't say that it happened super early. It was definitely a lot of patience and prayer on my end. But the Lord did a work, and I got to see the fruit of the Holy Spirit in my dad's life within just these past few months. So that's been amazing. And now I'm like praying to see even more through my mother. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. I'm more new to this church, but I hear everybody ranting and raving about how much better the
Sound panels.
with the sound panels, the basketball court is. Apparently, it was that bad. So that legacy is running on for sure.
Definitely.